Okay, Samaria, it's time for another fumble of the week. So, as you know, I am a sports nut. I watch almost anything competitive on television. I'm talking poker, pool. I watched the basketball tournament this week as well. And outside of just watching sports, I listen to endless amounts of sports media, from podcasts to nationally syndicated television shows. And one of my favorites to watch has been Gilbert Arenas, because I think they just have a dope collective of hoopers, and I respect it. Even though Rashad McCants tried to tear down my favorite program of all time in UNC. But this is not about Rashad McCants. This is about Gilbert Arenas. He made some comments after Team USA's 1-point victory over Sudan in a friendly just a couple of days ago. And Gil is known to say wild things, but what he said about Sudan and the continent as a whole were the kind of remarks that make you wonder what kind of upbringing a man like that had. And so let me contextualize Gilbert Arenas' experiences growing up. He is from the Valley of Los Angeles. It's where I am and live right now. And it lacks much culture outside of the Latin community and is dumb far from the blocks of black culture that exists in the heart of LA. I mean, you can barely find a decent beef patty, and soul food is nothing but tacos out here, okay? So that's where he is from. But Gil was once the guy in Washington, D.C., a city that I lived in for 5 years, a city that I was a part of the heartbeat of for 5 years. And that is a city brimming with migrants from the continent. And because we have swam in similar ponds in Samaria, you can take that whichever direction you want to take it. I'm sure he is very well aware of the phenomenal beauty within the Habesha community that lives in D.C. Do your research if you don't know. Beyond that, I'm certain he's familiar with the long line of players born on African soil. I'm talking about Akeem Olajuwon, Manute, and most relevant, Luol Deng, who is the president of the South Sudan Basketball Federation. There has been a huge investment into NBA Africa to create a pipeline for our brothers from the diaspora to reach the NBA and play the kind of basketball that the Sudanese team put on display against Team USA just a few short days ago. But instead of celebrating a group of men who made the entire continent of Africa proud for nearly pulling off the unthinkable, he chose to reduce them to stereotypes. And he basically called them spear chuckers and wildlings. And it just made me sad that Gil, a man wealthy enough and with a big enough platform to help shape the public perception of our homeland, and yes, that is our homeland, Gil, even though you may have never touched foot on the continent, he just chose to be willfully ignorant, and that hurt my heart. Hopefully, I don't know, it's been a long road, but hopefully someday Gilbert Arenas will grow up. I do feel like he has a lot to offer, and so he is getting my fumble of the week. What are your thoughts on Gilbert Arenas' comments on Sudan?
Yeah, he's done. I've never cared that much for him. I think his takes are sometimes just too out there for me, but I just didn't watch. I'm like, okay, I don't have to watch you. But now it's like, it's gone too far now. It really has. I know that you don't like cancel culture, but how can we support somebody who can speak like this? We should not be speaking like this to about Africans. Why would we do that? We're African American.
Some people don't view themselves as African Americans. They just view themselves as American, and that might be Gilbert Arenas. I can't dictate how he identifies and views himself.
Well, you shouldn't speak on anybody like that, because I guarantee you, if he had spoken on any other race, or if he had spoken on any other group of people, they would have shut it down. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Like, what are going to be the consequences to you opening your mouth and spewing this hate like this, talking about they don't have shoes, we have to send them clothes, we have to Are you serious?
I don't think there'll be any consequences. There'll be no consequences. This is his own platform, and Gilbert has said worse things about women in sports. So I don't think that he'll be penalized for this, because
like, it's time. It's time.
He produces his own content, and to his credit, he's built a phenomenal platform. I think that I'm going to always encourage people to show up as the highest version of themselves. I think that Gil is very intelligent. His basketball IQ is off the charts, but these are the kind of things that are going to keep him from having a legitimate role in the NBA franchise. These are the same kind of comments and remarks that are going to come back to bite him on the ass. He's clearly campaigned in the past to be brought in to locker rooms to be an assistant coach and maybe even a head coach on the NBA level, but these are the kind of things that organizations are not going to want to associate themselves with, and ultimately this will also potentially affect maybe like some sponsorship opportunities. I hope that he has enough or not enough of an ego to go ahead and issue an apology. I know Luau Deng tore his ass up in a statement on Instagram. I thought that was fire. And yeah, by all accounts, man, I just want this dude to grow up. It's so funny too, man, because again, growing up in not growing up, but coming of age in DC and seeing Gil's effect on the city, but also I have a Soul House membership, right? And Gil was in my Soul House membership welcome class. So he was like my Soho classmate or whatever, I guess you would call it. We would talk, and he would say bugged out things. You can tell he just says things for shock value, but I feel like sometimes he forgets who he is, and he tries to have conversations that, if you want to say that in private, all right, whatever, but you don't put that on the platform for the world to consume. I just think it was bad optics all around.
Yeah, it was hurtful. It hurt my feelings. I didn't like it. I'm just thinking about the number of people that he hurt, or maybe the number of people that he's like, oh, well, if Gilbert said that, then the way that I think isn't bad. Yeah. You know, like I just think that in today's society, we don't need that. We don't need that type of rhetoric. We just don't. So you can go. Because you're not that intelligent to me.
Get him out of here!
I don't like it.
Okay. All right, well, you let the people know what you want to hear in the comment section. I'll let you take it because you fed up.
Y'all please let me know how much of an idiot Gilbert Arenas is in the comments. Thank you.